HEM studio for a very special districts preview episode. We're really excited to have you.
And we're really heartbroken that it's already districts time. Some teams are already out, their seasons are over, and their hearts crushed. But this is the best time of basketball, baby. It's March Madness.
Yeah, we're really excited to see Lexi's predictions. You've done a great job so far this season, so let's see if you can get a couple more right. Let's start right off in Division 1. Number 5, Belleville, is going to be taking on number 24, Wayne Memorial. What do you think for that matchup?
This is a big matchup, not just because it's Belleville, ranked number 5, but Wayne Memorial is a team that has been underrated all year long. They're in Big Lexi's Big 25 at number 24 right now, but honestly, they could be edging all the way up toward that 10 spot if they didn't have some of the losses that they had this year. They have had 2 losses to Belleville on the season, but I will tell you right now, it's extremely hard, especially in high school basketball, to beat the same team 3 times in one season.
Ooh, so are we saying a little bit of an upset in this one?
Well, I still give it to Belleville. But I think it's going to be a really close, exciting game, and that they're going to have a run for their money.
Absolutely. Let's move on to another really big matchup in Division 1. Holland West Ottawa is going to be taking on Grand Haven. Holland West Ottawa at that number 15 spot and Grand Haven at number 14. What do you think?
This is one of the biggest matchups earliest on that we'll see all season long. It's my number 15 ranked Holland West Ottawa versus my number 14 ranked Grand Haven. I'm going with Holland West Ottawa to take the win in this one because even though they both have 1 win, 1 loss against each other, it was Holland West Ottawa who got the more important win in the second rematch, the rematch game, the revenge game. And Grand Haven lost their last regular season game of the season to East Kentwood, so I feel like their confidence is going to be down. Meanwhile, Holland West Ottawa's confidence up.
Yeah, and East Kentwood has a really big matchup in their district final. East Kentwood's going to be taking on Byron Center, who's at your 18 spot. What do you think?
Ooh, I actually picked the upset on this one. I went with number 18, Byron Center, getting the win over East Kentwood at number 7. I'm giving the win to Byron Center because East Kentwood's confidence was rocked after they lost that second matchup revenge game against Rockford. They won the first matchup by only 6 points, but Rockford came back and showed everybody that that game was a fluke, that Rockford was just the ones that had their worst game of the season rather than East Kentwood actually beating them because they were the better team. After East Kentwood lost against Rockford and their confidence got rocked, they also lost against West Ottawa, and for that reason, I don't think that East Kentwood's confidence is going to be up enough to beat Byron Center.
There are a lot of big Division 1 games, but Lexi has predictions for the teams that she thinks are going to make it through. Lexi, who's going to survive?
I'm going to rifle it off. We got number 1 West Bloomfield going through, number 5 Belleville, number 3 Rockford, number 8 Detroit Renaissance, number 15 Holland West Ottawa, number 18 Byron Center, number 19 Bedford Temperance, number 20 Grand Blanc, number 21 Midland Dow, number 25 Lowell, and then 2 games from teams that aren't ranked that I think are going to continue to move on and have some good games, Jackson Northwest and DeWitt.
And moving on to Division 2, we have a really good matchup in Goodrich and Lake Fenton. Goodrich sitting at your number 10 spot. What are you excited about, and who do you think is going to pull through in that one?
I think in the number 10 ranked Goodrich versus Lake Fenton matchup that it's going to be Goodrich who takes the win. However, I'm almost scared to say that because Goodrich swept Lake Fenton on the season this year, so this is going to be their 3rd time meeting up. And last year, it was Lake Fenton who swept Goodrich on the regular season, but then Goodrich got the win when it really mattered come playoff time and got to go all the way to the Breslin Center. I'm hoping that a repeat doesn't happen again this year, but in opposite ways, and I'm going to go with Goodrich getting all 3 wins this year.
We'll see if you're right in that one. Again, some more really good Division 2 matchups and teams we want to give a shout out to. Lexi, what teams in Division 2 are going to make it through?
I got, of course, number 2 ranked Ann Arbor Father Gabriel Richard, number 4 Grand Rapids West Catholic, number 6 Detroit Edison, number 11 Orchard Lake St. Mary's, number 12 Frankenmuth, number 13 Detroit Country Day, number 16 Negaunee, number 22 Tecumseh, number 23 Lansing Catholic, and then 2 teams that aren't ranked that I think are going to be good games that will move on, Powers Catholic and Chelsea.
Moving down to Division 3, another great matchup we're looking forward to. Arbor Prep going to be taking on Grass Lake. Arbor Prep sitting at that number 9 spot in Big Lexi's Big 10. What do you think in this one?
I'm going with number 9 ranked Arbor Prep and the Utomi Twins. However, this isn't a chump type of matchup. This is going to give Arbor Prep and the Utomi Twins a run for their money straight out of the gates in the district championship before they can figure out if they can actually even get to the Breslin. Both teams are 18-4, and Grass Lake is a team that has some big wins this season. A 10-point win over my number 22 ranked Tecumseh. Grass Lake isn't coming to play around, but Arbor Prep needs to show them who the better team is if they want to get back to the Breslin and win another state championship.
And in Division 3, a lot of really good teams we haven't gotten a chance to talk about so far this season, but we want to give them a shout out. Lexi, these are your predictions for Division 3. Who are they?
I got, of course, number 9 ranked Arbor Prep making it through, and then we have Blissfield, a team that made it to the Breslin Center last year. I'm excited to see if they can make it back again this year. I have Jackson Lumen Christi, St. Charles, Sandusky, Lake City, Arbor Springs, and Saugatuck.
And moving on, lastly to Division 4, number 17 Ishpeming going to be taking on Baraga. Baraga made a run last year. What do you think this year?
This one's going to be a tight one, especially because D4, you never really know exactly what you're going to get. Because Baraga has the experience, they have a benefit there. But I'm still going with my number 17 ranked Ishpeming to get the win.
Again, some teams we haven't gotten to shout out so far this season, so we want to give you guys a shout out right now. In Division 4, what teams do you think are going to make it through?
I also have Lake Linden Hubble, Kearney Nadow, Munising, Maple City Glen Lake, Mount Pleasant Sacred Heart, and Morenci.
And for the last time this season, we're going to check in with Big Lexi's Big Ten. Edison made a big drop. They lost to Frankenmuth. They dropped from 4 to 6. What really went into that decision to move them down?
Honestly, I'm heartbroken about moving Edison out of my top 5. They've been in it all season long. However, Edison lost their last regular season game of the season to my number 12 ranked Frankenmuth. It was a close game. It was a good game, but definitely a game that Edison should have won if they wanted to solidify their spot in my top 5. And especially after getting the win over Belleville, proving me wrong there, and then letting me down at the end, it breaks your heart. It does.
Absolutely. And because Edison moved down from that number 4 spot to the number 6 spot, Grand Rapids West Catholic moved up to 4. What made you put them in the top 5?
Honestly, the main reason that I moved Grand Rapids West Catholic into the top 5 is because I had to kick Edison out of it. However, after looking at Grand Rapids West Catholic's schedule, I realized this is a team that you can't mess with, that you can't underrate, because even though they lost Cadence Dystra, who's at Toledo now as a freshman, this is still a squad. They still have a lot of returners, and they won every other game on their schedule outside of that Rockford game, and obviously Rockford's at my number 3 spot, so that's not a knock to Grand Rapids West Catholic. I believe that because they were at the Breslin Center last year, they'll carry that experience in this year, and that's why I put them over Belleville, because Belleville just doesn't have that emotional maturity that West Catholic has.
And Goodrich back in your top 10 for the first time since week 4. They've had a couple of really big wins late in the season. Why'd you move them in?
I had to put Goodrich back into the top 10. They're one of the only teams left in the state undefeated from the regular season. And Goodrich ended up getting a lot of big wins this season. The main reason that I moved them out of the Big Ten is because they weren't as battle tested as a lot of my other teams. But when I went back and looked through their schedule, they have wins over my number 12 ranked Frankenmuth, who just beat my previously number 4 ranked Edison. And then Goodrich also has a win over my number 20 ranked Grand Blanc, a good Farmington Hills Mercy team, swept Lake Fenton on the season, who's a really solid team. So not only did Goodrich become more battle tested as the season went on, they are also going to carry in that experience from the Breslin Center last year, and that will help them and benefit them this year. I really think it's huge to have that experience come playoff time with players that are returning. It makes a big difference.
And the Miss Basketball finalists were announced recently, and we've got a great list of athletes. India and Summer Davis from West Bloomfield, Madison Morrison from Canton-Salem, Gabby Reynolds from Holland West Ottawa, and Lily Zeenstra from Byron Center High School. We've got a great list.
It's a great list, and no shade to all of these girls that are on here outside of India and Summer Davis, but to me, it's not even close. It's got to go to either India or Summer Davis. The team was ranked number 1 in Michigan regardless of class by both Detroit News and Detroit Free Press. Only one loss on their entire season, and it was to an out-of-state team. And then as for their individual awards, I mean, there's way too many to name, but some big ones that stick out is that Detroit Free Press ranked India number 1 in the state, Summer number 2 in Michigan regardless of class, and Detroit News ranked Summer and India the top 2 players in Michigan regardless of class. Only 4 players in Michigan were ranked nationally by ESPN. India and Summer Davis were 2 of them. Anaya Hardy is a sophomore. She was the other one. And then Sydney Savory from Belleville, a freshman, was the other one. Obviously, they are on the Miss Basketball Finalist Awards because of their class, but India and Summer Davis are. It's gotta go to one of those 2 girls.
And we've been getting your predictions from games all season long. Let's hear your prediction on the Miss Basketball winner. Who do you think it's gonna be?
Ooh, I am going to go just by a sliver. India Davis, last year she got Gatorade Player of the Year. Summer missed out on it, so maybe she'll end up with Miss Basketball. One can have Gatorade Player of the Year, one can have Miss Basketball, and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we're excited regardless. All of those athletes have done an absolutely amazing job this season. We've loved cheering you on. Make sure you guys tune in next week for another very special episode of Hangtime, and we'll see you soon.
State Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Hangtime is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, proud partner of the MHSAA, and the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation Athlete of the Year Award. Applications now being accepted until March 31st, 2024 for the male and female athletes of the year. Download the application today at dacathleteoftheyear.com. You cannot be nominated if you do not apply.